Hey folks, welcome to my first travel video. I just got back from an amazing trip to Japan with a couple of my friends. I had an amazing time, and here are a few highlights from my trip. I'm also going to be adding a few tips for those of you who are going to be visiting, so I hope you stay tuned and enjoy. Thank you. Also, this video is kind of long, and I know this is YouTube and people don't have a long attention span, but if you're really interested in visiting someday, I recommend watching the whole thing because I'll have a lot of audio commentary as well as visual tips. So just, watch it in parts. I also want to add that this experience was not sponsored or paid for by anybody. These are solely my personal opinions, and I did not ask my friends about their opinions. And also, if I am wrong in any way, please understand this is my perspective, so sorry, and come in a sec. Japan is a very amazing country and one that I have been very fortunate enough to visit throughout my lifetime. This is probably the third time I've visited, and I always feel like I've learned something new. I have yet to scratch the surface, honestly. I feel like every time I go, I learn something new about the culture, the history, the people, and I got to see different areas of Japan, not just the capital. I got to really get a feel of what living in Japan is like, and I really hope you guys get to visit someday and experience it the way I have. It's an amazing place, and I recommend anyone to go. So you're probably wondering, why go to Japan, or what is the big deal, right? Well, if you actually look up the world's greatest city, you would find that Tokyo is number one for many reasons. It's an article by CNN saying that Tokyo has some of the most advanced railway systems. It's the city with the most Michelin star restaurants in the world, and it's also one of the safest places in the world, and not just Tokyo but all of Japan. And with the upcoming Olympics, I'm sure everyone's wondering what Japan is really like. But even those reasons are not why I decided to go to Japan. This actually goes back to the first time I visited Japan, which was in 2006. I was fortunate enough to be a part of a student exchange program with my school. Our city in Richmond, California has a sister program with Shimada, which is a prefecture in Shizuoka, and we got to experience a homestay experience in Japan, which kind of is the reason why I got so interested in the country and the culture, and I've made some friends that will last me a lifetime, so I wanted to really go back and see them again. But honestly, this whole trip was actually one of my friend's ideas. My friend Tony, he's been going back and forth to Japan a few times and actually decided to invite us. So I thought about that, and I was like, that sounds amazing. It's not every day I get to travel with my friends and really kind of experience a whole different culture together. For a lot of us, this was our first time really visiting a foreign place like that, and we wanted to see different places, visit different cities, and also kind of have a few experiences planned out along the way. It was going to be a lot of planning, but we thought that it would be a great idea to do it together. For this trip, we decided that 10 days would be enough to visit different parts of Japan. We decided to spend a few days in Tokyo, a few days in Shimada, which is a prefecture in Shizuoka, a few days in Kyoto, return to Tokyo, go to Gunma area by renting a car, and then return and then spend the last days again in Tokyo. We met at our local train station and left together. We arrived a few hours early just so that we have enough time to check in our bags, make sure to weigh them, and clear customs. Some of us had TSA check-in, while others had to take the long way, but we still had plenty of time. At this point, we are all very excited to go to Japan. For most of us who haven't been there, and the ones that have been there, we know that it's going to be a long time before we get to go back. So everyone's just really excited to get on the plane. Another quick tip, if you get motion sickness very easily, I suggest taking some type of medicine for motion sickness because the plane ride was very bumpy. The flight was about 16 hours long and I had to get my Nintendo Switch out because I got tired of the movies on this plane.
Just landed.
We landed in Narita Airport, but the closer airport is actually Haneda. I recently read an article that a lot of more international flights will be landing in Haneda due to the Olympics. I also noticed that the entire airport is under construction.
Yeah.
I believe it's related to the Olympics. They're going to renovate everything. The fastest way to leave the airport would be the Narita Express train, which runs roughly about every 30 minutes to an hour. It costs around $35 and it runs from almost 8 in the morning to about 10 at night. If you want to save a little bit of money, a cheaper alternative would be a commuter shuttle, which you can buy a ticket at the counter for about $8 or so, and you can arrive around an hour and 30 minutes.
1%.
There's also taxis and cabs.
Yeah, it takes a while to download.
If you need Japanese yen, I also recommend getting some in your home country. I know there's some banks that offer really great rates. If not, you can always call your bank and do some international transactions. Just use the ATM card when you're in Japan. Also let them know that you'll be traveling so they don't give you some kind of fraud warning.
You got 2 choices? Oh.
Yes, because every time I come to Japan, I always forget. I'm not gonna do that. I always forget the cloth. I don't know. The chopsticks are pretty good too. Oh, you got a cloth, Johnny. You got to do twice. gotta put it on?
You gonna put it on?
You wanna put it on?
Yeah, put it on.
It's gonna mess up that nice gel hair of
The
yours.
whole flight, I didn't go to sleep so I could see.
You could have been recording this.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I got the app. Okay, oh, thank you. Not yet.
He doesn't have
I don't have a Facebook. What is this? Oh, the button. Thank you so much. Let's take a photo. Okay. Oh, after they're done with your.
Ah, damn it, I got
You sound so disappointed.
Mine doesn't have Facebook either. What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
I mean, I can like you guys on Instagram, but I can't.
See.
We sometimes switch between Spanish and English, but we try not to do it that often.
Thank you.
I don't know, maybe it's just the girl. The girl?
Yeah. She went first square. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, did you want the picture?
Oh, you want to take a photo? Okay. You want to take a photo with everybody? What? All of us?
I was like, do you want me to break out my camera? I can do it.
Oh, no. We'll just do a regular phone for now.
Yeah, his phone's
Try to get in. The most best.
The most best. I've never heard words.
Yeah. So his is the most best.
Yeah, the most best. The most best. The most bestest.
We're a bunch of idiots. But one thing also I noticed about the air quality, it felt like a big city like Los Angeles. It's not polluted, but it smells like burning. And then if you spend a lot of time outside, for those of you sensitive noses, you might get a small headache. I felt like I had a headache for being outside. Another quick tip for first-time travelers to Japan, I recommend trying to learn a little bit of Japanese, just because, you know, obviously you want to try to understand. I think it's very helpful, but for the most part, Tokyo felt like very easy to travel without Japanese. A lot of signs are in English, and a lot of people do speak English, even though they are a bit shy or don't feel comfortable speaking English. But the translator app worked a lot, and you know, just learning a little bit helps. It goes a long way. Also, feel free to ask me if you would like to find ways to learn Japanese. I found YouTube was one of the best ways, but I did do some online classes with the ABC languages, and I have plenty more resources. One thing I did wish I knew was this article by Travelocity about things to know before traveling to Japan. I'll link it in the description, but one thing that I found interesting was how difficult it was to find a trash can. Apparently that's normal.
Oh, arigato gozaimasu. Español, México.
When eating at a Japanese restaurant, there's a lot of menus that have pictures or some kind of English writing, but if you happen to go into a very small mom and pop shop and don't have an English menu, you'd be surprised, but they actually might have one if you ask, and the Japanese word for that is Eigo no menu ga arimasu ka. It's kind of hard to say, but you'll get it. Japan experiences all 4 seasons, but in a city like Tokyo, the temperatures were like subtropical and it felt very humid. for me, it was something similar to maybe like Florida, and I'm not used to that kind of weather. I had like a more dry weather, so it felt a little hard to breathe, but not really. It was an interesting experience. It's very easy to get around in Japan, so we rented a Airbnb that was about 30 minutes outside of Tokyo, and as long as you get there before midnight, the trains are running, but taxis are not that expensive unless you go after 11. And also I'll be adding a tour of the place we stayed at. You can watch that in a different video. I'll link it.
That's the last bit of water there.
You got a store right there?
Well, if Omar would be so kind as to replace my water before we leave. Yeah.
You guys, waterfalls.
You guys want me to take some pictures here?
I don't know what we're doing.
I was gonna tell him.
There we go, right?
Yeah,
Arcade.
Alright, go. Tokyo felt like any major city, such as New York or San Francisco. It was, everyone has a direction that they're going. No one's really stopping by. They don't really care what you're doing. So it can feel a little interesting. It's kind of hard to meet people, but you know, everyone's going about their business, and we were just doing some exploring. We decided to go check out the arcades because, you know, that's what us millennials do. And yeah, it was just getting around the city and exploring. I do recommend traveling light because of all the walking you'll be doing and wearing some comfortable shoes. There's also vending machines conveniently located like every block or half a block, but I found that the better deals were at the convenience stores, which sell bigger water bottles for a cheaper price. And I asked my friend why that was, and they said that Japanese people don't like carrying large bottles because then they have to finish them, so sometimes you'll get better deals buying the bigger drink. I have been to Japan before, and especially this area of Shibuya, but it's been a while. I do think that a lot's changed since my last visit. I feel like stores are disappearing and new ones are appearing, and whatever's, you know, the latest thing, the latest craze is taking over. Arcades seem to be disappearing in my opinion, but they are very fun, especially for us foreigners, because we like to just see what is new. The great thing about these arcades is they're open late, so if you miss your train and want to spend your time somewhere, the arcades are perfect. One thing to be careful about though is how much you spend at these arcades. You know, 100 yen doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, if you think about it in your currency, that's like $1 roughly that you're spending. So every time you play, you're spending about $1. You don't think of it that way because it's, you know, a currency that you're not familiar with. But yeah, just keep an eye on that. And also the temperature was a bit warm, but you get used to it. And here you can see my friend spending all of his money on the claw games. I'm telling you, they're very addictive, so definitely be careful about that. I noticed most of these prizes though you can find in Akihabara, which is located We had to hightail it back because we had plans to go to Shizuoka, and due to the incoming typhoon, a lot of trains were like running late, and there was a chance that they would not be running the next day, so we caught the last train to Shizuoka. The train station felt like organized chaos. There was a lot of people and everybody kind of seemed like in a rush, but nobody was panicking, which made me kind of panic. I've never been in a typhoon. I don't know what to expect. So this was a first experience for me. It's pretty interesting. We made it to Shizuoka, but another issue we had was that the typhoon was headed this way, so we were just gonna brace a storm. We checked into our hotel a little bit past midnight, and it was interesting to see that a lot of hotel staff were still working. Also during the storm, they were all fully staffed, which is really amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jack, okay. So for the second one,
Another thing I noticed was my iPhone, which was not even connected, was getting a lot of alerts about the incoming typhoon, yet my Android was not getting any kind of notifications. Our plans basically changed drastically due to the typhoon. They had a lot of news articles about it, so all we could really do is kind of watch and see what was going to happen. We were basically in the eye of the storm, and we had no idea what to expect, so we were just going to make the best of our time together. The worst part about it was that Japan just recently got hit with a typhoon less than a month ago, and they were still recovering from that, and the government is spending billions of dollars on that. Here is the alert I got on my iPhone. The good news though is a karaoke bar was open, so during the storm we went to go karaoke, which was a good experience because it was either be bored and miserable at the hotel or make the best of our time. I apologize for my terrible singing. we were pretty lucky. Turns out that the typhoon changed course last minute and ended up going towards Tokyo, which we left, and we didn't really get affected too much. One of the reasons we chose to visit Shimada during this time was because of the Obi Matsuri, which in English translates to like Sash Belt Festival, and it's a pretty rare festival that only happens once every 3 years. There's a lot of history behind this festival, over 300 years, but a short summary is that the women were praying for a safe delivery and happiness, and that eventually developed into the festival itself. Due to the typhoon, the first day was canceled, but this day was really nice, and this actually became the first day of the festival. Before actually attending the festival, we introduced ourselves to our group, which is the Shimada Exchange Program, and we would be going along with them to see the festival. We also got these really nice hapikos, I believe they're called, and everyone got to wear one during the festival.
Demise in Japanese.
Oh,
Yeah.
what is that?
Maybe food court.
Oh, I see. Smells good.
Yeah. You know, the yakisoba is fried noodle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Local food. This is local food.
Local food. Oh, okay.
How many times come to Shimada?
2 now.
2 now?
Yeah. Second time.
Second time?
Yeah. But feels like first time to me. You're from Shimada?
Yeah,
Oh.
I live in Shimada.
Oh, really? Great.
Yeah.
California?
California. How about California?
Never. I never experienced.
Really?
No. Oh. Junior high? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I will see.
We took a lot of group photos. Everyone was kind of happy to see people they haven't seen in a long time, and just being a foreigner, it made things fun. I'm not too sure I understood what was happening, but it was like a competition of who can pull their thing the furthest or the fastest, and you know there was 2 sides and they were cheering for their side to win. To watch, and I felt like the whole town was out here. It was like a very important thing, and it made me think about you know, my city and wishing we had something similar to this. People were really happy to, you know, go out and see each other. started walking to the next part of the festival, and somebody wanted to interview us for their YouTube channel. I never found that YouTube channel, but it was interesting to be interviewed.
はい、じゃあ。
I believe they were asking us if we were going to participate in this part where you pull on the rope to move the giant shrine, I believe, which, yeah, we are actually about to do right now. We got the whole group together, and we're going to pull together to see if we can move it. Very heavy and very difficult to move, but I believe it's a great honor to be able to move it. And one other rule was you're not supposed to step over the rope. It's considered holy or something like that, and you walk around it, which showed a lot of respect for the event. Yeah, I was very tired after one attempt, and this went on for possibly hours. We decided to skip it and go to the Horai Bridge, which is on the Guinness Book of World Records for being the longest wooden bridge in the world. I was fortunate enough to run into our good friend Eddie, which decided to tag along with us and kind of became our unofficial tour guide. I'm very grateful, so thank you, Eddie, for joining us. Eddie taught me a lot about the traditions and the culture, and here we are praying for whatever we wish for. The rule of thumb was to give your donation, clap your hands, and then ring the bell, something like that. Sorry, I forget. Another thing you should remember is you don't tell anybody your wish because of Japanese culture. It might not come true. I didn't know that, so sorry about that. So give your donation, then ring the bell, I believe, then you bow, and then you clap your hands, make a wish, and then bow again.
So I just grab the cup and wash my hands. Oh, you get it from the dragon's mouth. Oh. Sorry. Think that's enough water?
Yeah. Left hand. And then right hand.
And then down the stick. And the rest goes down the stick. Alright.
We were on a busy schedule, so we had to leave that night. We took a bus to Kyoto. This is me at a rest stop. Overnight bus. I think the bus is over there. And yeah, gonna see what we have at the vending machines. Cool. A little bit. I'll be okay. Next stop, Kyoto.
Wait, is it that
Kyoto is such a huge tourist destination for even Japanese people, but as well international people across the world. I felt like Kyoto was the least Japanese place, but it was definitely very beautiful. And I rented a tour guide.
Hey, good morning, Niall.
This is Niall
Nice to meet you,
from
my
Kyoto
man.
VIP.
Yeah, thanks for,
He's going to show us around.
Mark. Yep.
We visited a lot of famous tourist destinations, which I'll link in a different video. It was very beautiful, but there was a lot of tourists. Here is a love stone, which I recommend anyone to try. It's pretty cool. You have to walk to the other side with your eyes closed, and if you can make it, you have good luck with love. Unfortunately, I could not make it, so I'm not good at that. After the tour, we decided to take a stroll through Nishiki Market, which is one of the oldest markets in the city. There's a lot of places you can snack on, and I was eating a lot of different food. Then I realized at the end that I spent like over $60 on snacks, which was amazing. Here you can see some of the workers pounding the mochi. It's pretty interesting, and it got a lot of people attention. If you make it to the other side of the market, there's also an owl cafe which lets you pet the owls. Just be careful not to pet them the wrong way. Also, we had to visit the poke shop in Kyoto. The next day we met up with Niall again in the evening, and he was going to take us to a traditional Japanese tea house to get to experience a meeting with a geisha, which I was pretty excited to see. Here we are grabbing a cab and meeting in the Gyeon district, which is the old part of town where most of the geishas live. And in Japanese there's a geiko and a maiko, which is the correct terms. The Gyeon district is very beautiful, especially strolling through at night. I believe there's actually a aesthetics rule in Kyoto, which means that no store could really stand out, and they have to keep the traditional look, even if it's a new store. So we actually saw a Hard Rock Cafe and a Starbucks, and it looked very much like the old Kyoto. We made it to the tea house, and here we are expecting our Geiko and Maiko to greet us and do a little performance. It was a very unique experience, and you have to be a member of the tea house to be allowed in. no random person could just walk in. I'll link the full video right here in the description, and make sure to book Nile if you want to experience this as well. We also got to ask a lot of questions to the Gecko and the Maiko, so it's a good opportunity to learn more about their life and what the difference is. I won't really talk too much about it so that you have something to talk about. I actually didn't have a lot of questions when I went, so I felt a little weird. I wanted to ask stuff, but I couldn't think of anything. But hopefully you prepare some questions if you decide to do this. After Kyoto, we took the Shinkansen back to Tokyo and made our way to our car rentals, and we are big fans of Initial D, so we went to the mountain that the series is based off of, Mount Akina, which is actually Mount Haruna, which is the real mountain. In order to drive a car in Japan, you need an international driver's permit, which you can get at AAA if you're in the United States for about $20. And it was actually very easy. It was actually harder to drive in Japan. It was one of the most scariest experiences of my life.
Click it again and see if it's gonna be. Here? Let's go. As soon as it's clear, you're 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 clear.
I'll link another video showing the full mountain. It was really cool to see the anime in real life.
Oh, Johnny was hitting it. Thought he just took off.
If you decide to go at the bottom of the hill, there's the D Car Garage, which is like a coffee shop, and it has all these cool cars from different shows and series, movies. It was just an amazing shoe car fan experience to see. Here's a few different types of food that I ate. It's back in Tokyo now, and I went into that random store and just ordered different kinds of food. It was all pretty good, but I noticed I had to order a lot to enjoy it. Of course, we had to check out Akihabara, which is the famous electric town, the anime capital of the world. I was a little disappointed. It was a lot smaller than I imagined, and a lot of the statues and figurines were in a very provocative look. Even the maid standing outside was very provocative, and I was kind of not in the mood to go into a maid cafe. For the final day, we decided to do 2 more experiences. This one is the Samurai Performance hosted by Koshiro. I believe this was in Shibuya, and he kind of talked to us a little bit about samurai history and demonstrated some of the performing arts with some modern takes about it. it was a really nice experience, and I learned a lot, and I highly recommend it. I'll link this experience in my description if you decide to do it. He had a lot of authentic gear from the samurai era, and he's performed for many famous people, including presidents. You can see all of that when you visit his location. We took a lot of photos. We even got to try on some authentic samurai gear and had a quick lesson on how to swing the sword, which was awesome. I also brought a radiation detector due to the Fukushima incident that happened a few years ago. I was a little bit scared, but this reading here, a 0.08, was actually considered normal. Mare! Hey, how are you? Omar, yes, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming and getting
Friends.
Yes, everyone too.
Okay, so is that all?
Yeah, one of them couldn't make it. Yeah, they canceled, but
For
that's
our
okay.
experience,
Yeah. Booked us a cabaret show, which is hosted by Mare, and this is like a musical performance, and you judge the performers by kind of voting.
Actually, today we will have a special guest from Broadway.
Oh.
So, like, of course I made
That was
She's
so
my friend.
weird.
I don't know much about music or singing in general, but everybody was very talented in this show, and the competition was very fierce. It was very difficult to vote for someone. I voted like everyone positive, and yeah, everybody was really good. Of course, I highly recommend this experience as well. It's rare. It's like once a month. But if you get the chance, you can book it on Airbnb, and Maud is an amazing person, and I think you guys would enjoy it. I also want to say thank you, Mare, for hosting us and treating us as, you know, your guest, and your friend translated the whole show for us, so I'm very grateful for that as well. And with without further ado, here are a few highlights of the show, so enjoy.
森内弘樹と
春日マレー、そしてピアニストの久田奈美さんです。
どうぞよろしくお願いします。さあ第33回、始まりましたね。実は32回は初の大阪をやってまいりました。
今月ですね。まだ
そう、まだ今月
頭。
そう2週間前。
それだけ？
はい。
タイムフライって感じですよ。
なんか英語で言ったらかっこいいな。
いいよ、真似してください。
タイムズフライ。
タイムフライです。タイムだからフライズは S。
いいんですよ、それで。さあ、ということで33回になるんですけども、はい、今日はですね、もうこれいきなりちょっと僕すごくねナーバスになってるというか、ナーバスって緊張してるというか、
そう、ひろきさんも緊張してて、
はい、何かというとね、案内にも書いてあったんですけど、スーパーゲストが今日は
スーパーゲストじゃなくてスペシャルゲスト、
スペシャルゲストがね来ていて、今日はもう一日ずっと舞い上がってるんで、そういう僕を今日は見てくださいっていう形で、
ひろきさんのショーなんですね。
はい、よろしくお願いします。
緊張する森内さんを見る、
誰もいつも見てくれないから、いつも見てくれないからね、今日ぐらい見てほしいなと思って、
見てますよ。
はい、よろしくお願いします。さあ、ということでこのスマッシュキャバレーなんですが、初めて来たって人、
ファーストタイム。
これファーストタイム、ほぼ全員。
いっぱい。ありがとうございます。
来たことある人を聞いた方がいいかもしれない
ぐらいね。ありがたいです。
さあ、じゃあ初めていらしたということで、このスマッシュキャバレーなんですけれども、一体どんなショーになっているかと言いますと、実は2017年の2月から、毎月このキャバレーショーを行ってるんですね。で、何かというと、日本でももっとミュージカルを身近に感じられる場を作りたいという思いでこのスマッシュキャバレーを作りました。で、何をしているかというと、毎月動画オーディションをしています。で、動画オーディションを通った人が今日このステージに立ってパフォーマンスをすると。で、その中のパフォーマンスの中から今日来ていただいたオーディエンスの皆さんの投票によって優勝者が決まります。そしてその優勝者には賞金が贈られるというショーになってますね。
そしてスマッシュキャバレーではですね、テーマが設けられている回があるんですけども、今日はフリーテーマが特にないので、皆さんが本当にいろんなジャンルのいろんなミュージカルの曲を披露してくださいます。そして Facebook でライブ配信をしている
のかな。こっちちっちゃ iPhone でやってる。
すごいちっちゃい、普通の誰かの iPhone で Facebook 配信されています。最後まで見ていただけますので、お楽しみください。そして写真撮影、動画撮影 OK です。皆様ぜひパフォーマンス撮っていただいて、こちらのハッシュタグスマッシュキャバレーをつけて、世界中に拡散をしていただければなと思います。そういう世界ですからね。
はい、そうですね。
さあ、それでは早速なんですけれども、今日の出演者8名の方をお呼びしたいと思います。よろしいでしょうか。それでは登場していただきましょう。どうぞ。
What they need, and evening your case. Everyone, I'm sure to live with anyone at all. I could taste it, I shine. Can't you guess that this confident air is a mask that I wear 'cause I shine, and to make me shine.
こんばんは。いやもうね、ブロードウェイのリ
Not a day goes by, not a blessed day, but you somewhere come into my life.
手数の方ね、4名のお客様に分かりやすいように一歩前に出てください。
はい、お願いいたします。
は
一歩もうちょっと前でもいいよ。もうちょっと。
皆さんもうちょっと前に出ましょうかね。
はい。そしたらもうちょっとそっち行ってくれたら嬉しいな。もうちょっとそっち行ってくれたら嬉しいな。
わがままだな、ひろきさん。
はい。第33回スマッシュキャバレー優勝者は関根ゆか
おめでとうございます。おめでとうございます。関根ゆかさんがマスキャバレーの賞金が贈られます。おめでとうございます。
おめでとうございます。
This was such an amazing trip, and I believe this song really highlights the most important things about traveling and about just life in general. I felt like I was put under a lot of stress throughout the trip, you know, worrying about where you need to go, what you need to do, and you'll be pushed to your limits. But this song is really what it's all about. It's about just enjoying the moment and living life to the fullest with your friends, and I'm really glad I got to go on this trip. It's all about love. Yep, that's the truth.
Seasons of love, seasons of love. 525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys to plan, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman? It's true that she learned times that he cried, and bridges he burned, or the way that she
One last thing before I end this video, I wanted to leave you all with a Japanese proverb that I learned from Nile while I was in Kyoto, and that proverb is Ichigo Ichie, which translated in English means something similar to one meeting, one lifetime, and there's a lot of meaning behind this, but the way I translated it to myself is something like, even though you do the same things every day, you learn to appreciate things more if you just accept it as this is the only time that this will happen, and even if it happens again, it is a different experience altogether. And when traveling, it can be very tiring or stressful, but if you cherish every moment, it'll feel a lot better. So that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching. Bye.